In a horrifying twist of fate, 18-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla turned a teenage love story into a blood-curdling tragedy, initially crashing her car at 100 miles per hour to murder her boyfriend and his friend. Just days after the fatal crash, she stunned everyone by partying in a corpse outfit, leaving the community to grapple with the chilling question: was this a monstrous act of premeditated murder? This is the story of Dominic Russo and his innocent friend Davion Flanagan, who were brutally murdered in a car crash. Mackenzie Shirilla, the beloved girlfriend of Dominic Russo, planned and executed the murder, surviving the crash with injuries. But who knew the cunning personality behind her pretty face? CCTV footage and police investigations revealed it to be a premeditated murder, leading to her arrest. What could be the reason for killing her boyfriend after a 3-year relationship? How could she become so brutal that she didn't think even once about Davion Flanagan, who only needed a ride home? But before we proceed, our heartfelt condolences go out to the families of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan for their loss. It was the end of July 2022 in the peaceful town of Strongsville, Ohio. The seniors of that year's graduating class looked forward to bright futures, and their parents were proud of them. This was the case for Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan, both 19. Dominic was one of 8 children, a go-getter who loved playing basketball and was driven to succeed. He was starting his own clothing line. Davion too had ambitions. Davion and his 2 biological sisters spent some of their early years in foster care. Both of their parents were addicts, and the children were removed from their parents' home due to neglect. Life in the foster system was no easier. Siblings were adopted by Scott and Jamie Flanagan. Jamie recalled they were very underweight. Rescued from a difficult life, Davion recognized that he had been given a second chance. He was determined to grasp this chance with both hands. Davion could pick up any sport and excel from the start, focusing mainly on football. When injuries spoiled his football dreams, he developed another dream: attending barber college and opening his own shop. He taught himself basic skills from YouTube and TikTok and recently submitted his application to All-State Barber College. Life beyond July was full of hope for both young men, yet an unforeseeable tragic event lay in store for them. Dominic and Davion were brutally murdered in a high-speed crash orchestrated by Dominic's girlfriend, Mackenzie Shirilla. To all appearances, Mackenzie Shirilla was a typical, if risk-taking teenage girl. She had a TikTok account where she posted videos joking about drug use. "I'm not even cool, I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die." She frequently posed with paraphernalia in her car, displaying irresponsible behavior that hinted at trouble ahead. What started as a whirlwind teen romance lasted over 3 years. Mackenzie was living with Dominic and his family, and the cramped quarters strained their relationship. At school, she was known as a bully, often humiliating people and even telling depressed individuals to kill themselves. This lack of empathy foreshadowed the tragedy to come. Mackenzie and Dominic frequently fought and reconciled. She treated him with the same narcissism and cruelty she showed others. The constant cohabitation and her toxic personality set the stage for a disturbing event that hinted at the horrific ending awaiting them. The 17th of July, 2022. On July 17th, 2022, Mackenzie was driving her Toyota Camry on Interstate 71 with Dominic as her passenger. They were arguing, confined in a small space, and Dominic wanted out. He phoned his mother for a ride, and when she was unavailable, he called a friend. During the call, Dominic's friend heard Mackenzie say, "I'll crash this car right now." Rushing to the scene, the friend found Mackenzie's car stopped on the side of the road, with Dominic's door open. Mackenzie was hitting Dominic with both hands, and the friend overheard her threaten, "Dominic, I'm going to crash this car." In another incident that same month, Dominic recorded another argument. The video captured Mackenzie repeatedly degrading him. Their relationship had clearly deteriorated, and Dominic no longer felt comfortable with her presence in his house. Threatening to damage his car or break the door handle, Mackenzie demanded entry. She counted down, imposing a deadline. When Dominic didn't comply, Mackenzie warned. Once again, Dominic sought help from his mom. The involvement of his mother in both situations underscored the youthfulness of Dominic and Mackenzie. Despite their escalating conflict, no one could have predicted the tragic outcome of their relationship. If you're finding this story compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more crime stories like this. 31st of July 2022. At around 5:30 in the morning on July 31st, 2022, tragedy struck when a Toyota Camry crashed into a Strongsville building at 100 miles per hour. Dominic Russo and his friend Davian Flanagan were passengers, with Mackenzie Shirilla behind the wheel. Mackenzie was found unconscious and flown to the hospital in critical condition, while Dominic and Davian were pronounced dead at the scene. Community members were devastated by the loss, describing Dominic and Davian as integral parts of their lives. GoFundMe pages were quickly set up to support the families and cover medical expenses. As Mackenzie recovered, she publicly mourned Dominic's death on social media. However, suspicions arose when emails revealed Mackenzie and her mother seeking employment with a modeling agency shortly after the crash. Evidence presented to the court included videos of Mackenzie attending events with seemingly no remorse for the lives lost. Despite her reported health issues, she was seen driving a car shortly after the incident. The revelation of Mackenzie's actions cast doubt on the initial belief that the crash was a tragic accident. 31st of October 2022, 12 weeks after the tragic crash, Mackenzie seemingly recovered enough to celebrate Halloween with her friends. They dressed up as corpses, with Mackenzie almost unrecognizable from the girl who had lost her boyfriend just 3 months prior. In a disturbing twist, Mackenzie also dressed as drank, embodying the very substance abuse that contributed to the accident. Investigation. The police found evidence of illicit substances in the crashed car, further complicating the story. Mackenzie's blood tested positive for THC, potentially implicating her in driving under the influence. However, the legal landscape changed dramatically when the police charged her with double homicide just 5 days after her Halloween outing. Mackenzie's lawyers argued that she had lost control of the car, painting her as an inexperienced and irresponsible teenager. Despite expressions of grief and guilt during her hospital recovery, Mackenzie claimed not to remember the crash. She reached out to Dominic's mother, expressing her desire to regain her memories through hypnosis. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the question remained: was the crash a tragic accident or a deliberate act of murder? Mackenzie's memory loss complicated the situation, leaving the truth shrouded in uncertainty. But the police and prosecution had a different perspective. They believed Mackenzie's actions weren't accidental, but part of a planned double homicide. The night before the crash, Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian hung out at a friend's place, where they had smoked something. But that wasn't the root cause of what happened next. Mackenzie had a plan, and she executed it meticulously. Crucial evidence came from CCTV footage near the crash site. This footage, along with the car's data, contradicted the idea that Mackenzie was reckless or under the influence. It revealed a deliberate and calculated sequence of events. Initially, Mackenzie's driving seemed careful, with proper signals and all, but the subsequent footage showed a drastic change. The once calm scene turned into chaos as the car sped into a building. This abrupt shift raised serious doubts about Mackenzie's true intentions. Mackenzie's familiarity with the Strongsville Progress Drive Business Park was evident. She had meticulously planned her actions, visiting the area beforehand with the intent to kill, as evidenced by her cell phone records. Choosing an early morning time ensured minimal witnesses. Tragically, Davian's presence in the car was incidental. He was simply in need of a ride home and became an unintended victim. Mackenzie's disregard for his life was evident, treating him as insignificant. Even during her court statement, she had to be reminded of his tragic death. The judge's description of Mackenzie as literal hell on wheels underscores the gravity of her actions. The trial highlighted how one person's decisions can irrevocably alter the lives of many, robbing Dominic and Davian of their futures. This case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of every decision we make. Regardless of their nature, our actions have far-reaching consequences, impacting not only ourselves, but also those around us. The ripple effects of our choices resonate through time, affecting countless lives in ways we may not foresee. In criminal cases, the state bears the responsibility of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt is deeply disturbing and tragic. It captures the stark reality of 2 lives lost due to the defendant's actions. Mackenzie alone decided to drive down an unfamiliar route at an early hour, despite knowing the potential risks involved. The evidence clearly shows that Mackenzie acted with purpose and intent on that fateful day. Her actions were deliberate, controlled, and driven by a singular goal: death. This was not a case of reckless driving, it was murder. After carefully considering the evidence presented, the court has reached its verdict. Mackenzie has been found guilty on 2 counts. Count 1 for the murder of Dominic Russo, and Count 2 for the murder of Davian Flanagan. Meanwhile, Mackenzie and her mother continue to assert their innocence. Mackenzie's mother stated, she added tearfully. Mackenzie's mother recounted the agonizing moments after the accident, not knowing who was involved until she received the devastating call confirming Dominic's death. She expressed her deep grief and disbelief, emphasizing their love for Davian. Regarding Mackenzie's social media activity, her mother clarified that Mackenzie did not have access to her phone at the time of the accident, as the police had it. She explained that her comment defending Mackenzie on social media was not about a modeling opportunity, but to stop people from labeling her as a murderer. She vehemently defended Mackenzie's intent to harm anyone. She was sentenced to 2 15-year to life sentences to be served concurrently, making her eligible for parole in 15 years. While some members of the victims' families found this unfair, others felt that justice was served. They expressed their devastation over the loss of their loved ones and emphasized that there were no winners in this tragic situation. It was a complex case, and opinions may differ. While some argue that Mackenzie's actions indicate premeditated murder, others believe it was a tragic accident. The court's verdict, however, deemed her guilty of murder based on the evidence presented. What do you think about that? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button. Until next time.